Welcome to Covenant Tribe Media Podcast, where we explore all things writers and filmmakers with an emphasis on faith-based and independent creators. The host is Ashia Goldson, a multi-published author, screenwriter, and filmmaker. Now, let's talk media.
Welcome to Covenant Tribe Media Podcast. Today, we're excited to be talking to our very special guest, Dana Jackson. Hi, Dana.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I appreciate you coming. So, Dana, if you would please introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're from originally, where you live now, all that good stuff.
Okay, sure. So again, I appreciate you for having me here. So right now, my recent achievement is on-air TV and radio personality. I'm a co-host with Rejoice 102.3 FM, WICA. Also a co-author, and I'm looking to do an up-and-coming partnership with TBN, their publishing department, for a children's book. I also have some other projects that I've been working on. My main goal is just to be used by God as a vessel to speak the good news and to speak God's truth. And, encourage people, because there's a lot of things that's going on in society, and we need to be able to be the willing vessels to speak God's word. So I'm just all about uplifting and trying to inspire and share stories. I started off right after, it was like my last year of college. I had a blessing to be the editor-in-chief of a newspaper. So that's kind of where I started to hone my skills in writing and telling stories. And after that, I went, of course, journalism is such a demanding field.
Right.
I didn't get a job right off the bat. So I went straight into corporate. And I was able to excel in customer service, be an effective communicator. In every industry, I was able to master my craft. And, with creatives, we have to be creative. We don't want that freedom to be taken from us. So
Exactly.
I was able to flourish and be an effective communicator with sales and customer service, but there was still a void. So I continued to ask God to guide me and lead me where I can use my writing skills and my storytelling to build up His kingdom and use that creative integrity and just be able to reach a diverse audience and tell that truth and be honest about my work as well. So just to fast forward past that, I have a degree in journalism, writing, and reporting. So I've been trying to see exactly where God wanted to lead me. I knew that it wasn't in journalism anymore, because journalism is such a vast industry, but I knew I wanted to do more creative writing.
Yes.
So lived in Chicago all my life, South Side child.
Outside.
Yes, I love Chicago. And I've been here all my life. And after my grandmother passed away, she was telling me that I think it'd be good, for you to travel back and forth to California a little bit. Because my mom always said California, since I was little, that she wanted to move, but she never moved. So
Right.
I'm like, what's the whole, why are people talking about California this and California that? I'm like, I don't like California. And then I finally went and visited with my best friend for her birthday, and I fell in love with it. So I started to just prospect. I went back with my sister, and I went back with my mom again. And then last 2 years, I moved a couple of years ago to California. It's been a blessing.
Wow. Where in California?
So I live in LA. So it's like 25 minutes from downtown LA. Yes.
So you're right in the thick of it.
Yeah, I'm right about everything.
Right. But it was meant for you.
Yes, I believe it was.
that?
I believe God directed me there, even though I've had some challenges. It's a demanding market, and
Right.
it's a lot of stuff going on down there. But I mainly went down. I think it's a gold mine for ministry. Even though we have the highest population of homeless people, able to connect with a lot of nonprofit organizations that help with the homeless.
Oh, wonderful.
I understand that I can't be walking around with my own food and giving it out, because it's not safe. I have to be. We try to be with some type of partnership, just to have people out there with me. So I've been blessed to do that. And even when I was down, I was in California, I was able to be able to work remotely. So that's been very helpful. And then, right out the back, I decided to tell my story on the radio. It was a blessing that the host, the producer, asked me she offered me a position the next day to be a co-host on her show. So
that is awesome.
That's been blessing me. I'm very appreciative to be able to speak and have a safe place to speak about my story as well.
Right. And I like how what you said in the beginning that you just wanted to be a willing vessel. I think that's awesome. I think that's exactly what you're doing now. Tell us about this book that you have. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I was blessed about 2 years ago to co-author on a book with 12 ladies. It was an anthology project, and we were able to, each individually tell our stories. The visionary author, she had previously did a series of books. Her first book was called The Day She Left, and she ended up introducing an idea for us to come aboard and do The Day She Left, turning trauma into triumph. So I was blessed to be able to tell my story on there and, be able to minister to not only women, but people as a whole and let them know about what I've been through.
Right.
I've been able to maintain my faith as a woman of God, and it has not been easy. I've doubted situations as well, and God has been able to grace me through the fire, through it all.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. And the name of the book, did you say the name of the book?
The Day She Left.
The Day She Left. The Day She Left. Good.
Trauma to triumph.
Trauma to triumph. Excellent. Excellent. I know you have different projects as well that you're working on. Did I hear something about film?
Yes. So I've been looking to get more into film writing. I'm an aspiring actress, so I want to get more into acting.
Right.
I've done a lot of extra work. I've done some work with Netflix.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and it's been a blessing because, I'm not really I've been getting familiar with the industry, but I've been kind of just learning as I go. So I come to find out I end up getting free feature vouchers, and I didn't even know it. So I'm eligible to do a speaking role once I do the SAG.
Girl, that's excellent. That is excellent.
And I got it in a matter of 2 years, and people are like, it took me forever to get my 3 feature vouchers. Say, oh, well, God has blessed me.
Right. Not when God is on your side, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of things have happened expectedly.
Favor ain't fair.
Suddenly.
Favor ain't fair. Yeah. All right. Awesome.
I was going to just say, so with the film, I've just been trying to learn the industry as much as I can. Trying to network. My goal is to pitch my story idea. I came up with the prayer closet because I've always had a prayer closet, and I go there when I need to meditate or need to speak to God. So it's been a place that has helped me to move in life. So I named the story called The Prayer Closet, a Chicago story, a true story about my life. And I'm looking to pitch it to film producers, and directors. And I'm just going to allow God to lead and direct that and to lead me wherever he wants to take me. So that's another project that I've been working on, and just getting more into film writing as well.
And that's so exciting. And I think now is the best time to do it, right? With all of the different mediums and streaming services, there's so much of a platform, so much more of a platform than there was years ago.
Right. Mm-hmm. Everything is consolidated,
Yes.
It's to work in our favor.
Exactly.
I think it's the best time to tell our stories.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is so exciting. So it seems like you have your hand in a lot of different creative areas, right? Because you say you act, you do screenwriting. So there's your actual story. So that's narrative writing, right? Yeah, that's awesome. You're very talented. Now, when did this begin? Let's go back a little. When did you know that you wanted to write or do any of these things, act? And when did this begin for you?
It began when I was in 3rd grade. I remember my 3rd grade teacher telling me, because, when we used to have to write a paragraph, writing a page or 2 pages.
Right.
She's like, you love to write. I said, yes, I do. And she's like, oh, maybe you should go to school for journalism. And she's telling me this, and I'm in 3rd grade.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, okay, journalism. And she said, yeah, that's what people do when they want to get into writing and, long, lengthy writing. And I said, okay, so that stuck with me. And I stuck with me through grammar school, high school, and to college. So I ended up majoring in journalism, writing, reporting when I got into college. And I didn't know where it was going to take me. I just feel that God sends people to you to give you revelatory insight about a lot of different things. And
absolutely,
I don't take what people tell me, especially elders and people, anybody in general.
Right.
If they give me good criticism, I'm gonna take it and use it. So
Right.
I ended up doing it, and I was blessed to get a lot of good opportunities because I know a lot of times people us as Blacks, a lot of people wanted to go to HBCUs, and
Right.
that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to Bethune-Cookman.
Yes.
And my
Okay.
grandmother, she was
Right.
like, no, I think you should just stay, where we could be close to you, stay in Chicago. I'm like, okay.
Oh,
So I
wow.
just stayed. But
So
it
you
was a
didn't,
blessing.
you
It
didn't
was a
go.
with those BCUs, a lot of time, it depends if it's a big school, but
Right.
there can be a higher demand to get into certain organizations. Sometimes you have to wait. There's
Right.
lotteries because it's
That's
such a
true.
big student body.
That's true.
But when we went to a small school, I was able to, my professor just volunteered and said, Amy, you should go for the editor-in-chief job. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. She's like,
Right.
just do it. I did it. We ended up being picked up by AP Associated Press, Chicago Tribune, and that wasn't something I
Wow.
was intentionally doing it. I was just trying to tell our stories and get them out
Right.
there. Just
Right.
do the right thing. And so a lot of times when you're just working, just not for the credit, and you're just working just to help others, a lot of opportunities come your way.
Right. I think your purpose was rising to the surface.
Yes.
Were you aware of that at the time? Because often we're not even aware. Like you said, we're
I
just
was not.
working. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, so you knew about this writing thing early on. What about acting? When did you become interested in that?
I really started to become interested in acting, I would say, because I've always been artistic as a child, always never shy.
Right.
Always in my closet, but I never knew where it was going to take me. So I think I really started to know that I wanted to do something in acting when I did the John Hope Idol at my school.
Okay.
It was a talent show, and I sang in front of Albertina Walker. And I was so nervous.
Nice.
So I believe that was, I didn't win, but I did good.
Right.
It was a great opportunity, and that's when I started to think about doing an album. I've always sang in the church choir, always been in the choir, but it started
We have a lot
to
of things in common.
yeah.
We have a lot of things in common. Go on.
Great minds think alike.
Right.
But I started to really understand where God wanted to take me. I could say this on a more vast level because I've always been able to perform. I've always been able to, stick out. And, I've never tried to fit in with the crowd, and it has provided opportunities for me. So it was to fast forward. Once I was in a play, I started to do college. I did the fashion shows. I did the choir. And then once I finished with that, I started to get more into like the industry, applying for gigs, casting agencies and things like that. And Chicago's a good market. Well, that's where my feature roles came from, was from Chicago. It took a while in California because, actually, I think too, because, we just got done with the strike and everything. It's opened a lot of opportunities. I just got like my first incoming casting call with Central Casting. They're like one of the top. Yeah, thank you. They're one of the top agencies in the country. So it was a blessing. So things, even though it's moving at a snail's pace, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen.
It is happening. It is happening, girl. It is happening. This is so exciting. So during that time, you were really, when you said you were singing, you were really establishing your stage presence. And do you feel like that gave you confidence to want to move into the acting?
It did. And a lot of times too, because sometimes you can suppress or forget about things that you've done.
Yes.
I think the past 3 or 4 years, I'm really starting to say, oh, that's Dana. I've done well in this area. I think I suppressed a lot of things because it was just not necessarily overwhelming, but just to be that go-to person for, Dana, we want you to do this, we want you to do that. Sometimes you get tired of them and stuff.
Right.
To go-to person. So I think I'm very curious, and I keep a lot of pictures and videos. So me, past 12 years, when I first did my first lead role in a play, was in my church, and I had just past 2 or 3 weeks, I found the video. So I looked at it, and I hadn't watched it in over 10 years. And that just watching it gave me revelatory thoughts to get more into acting and writing and things like that. So I think it's really good to, it's okay to go back towards the past if it's for insight to forward,
I agree. Right, because sometimes we can bury our purpose. Not intentionally, but like you said, you felt overwhelmed, and so you just kind of put it aside. Yeah, that's awesome that you picked that back up. That's awesome. So now we've got a sense of who you are and how you started, what you're planning for the future. And also tell me about the hardest thing about the journey so far. What would you consider the hardest part?
I believe some of the biggest challenges that I've dealt with is sometimes telling the truth can be the enemy to people.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be able to, another thing is being able to maintain my spirit. The fact that I've been able to walk in the spirit, I walk and stay in the spirit. And there's a lot of things in the natural don't last. You have to stay in the spirit. And I see everything. And just being able to, sometimes I can't speak on everything. I have to have a tone about everything. I have to carry myself a certain way, and not in a way that I'm walking on pins and needles. This is being obedient to God and man. And, it can be a lonely road sometimes. And I think another thing too, when just being able to have the discernment to be able to build friendships and relationships with people that believe in God and that, walk His way, because your character can be easily corrupted,
Yes.
I'm a very outgoing person, so I love to do everything. I'm creative. I'll try it at least one time. So, it's a matter of just finding that balance. And, so whenever I do some things, I have to remain steadfast and go to God and ask Him, okay, is this what you want me to do? Is this Dana want me to do it, or is this you, Lord, telling me to do it?
Right. Because you kind of answered, because my next question was going to be, how do you guard your heart in these different spaces? But you kind of
meditating, mentorship, trying to stay in church as much as I can. I write a lot of things down as well. I believe writing things down is very anointed.
Yes.
And even I tell people, even if they don't like to write, just get a small journal or write on a napkin. My grandmother used to write on napkins. I still have her napkins. Every time things came to her mind, she'd write in her napkin, write in her napkin, put it in her Bible, or put it somewhere. So, if something comes to you, write it down, because our minds are going a million miles per hour. So, we can't remember everything. And I have like 12 journals. I started journaling when I was like 18. So I keep, a lot of things handy, and it's been helpful. It's helped me to stay focused, to stay goal oriented. Yeah, but I've been very, very successful with writing things down. It's been, even with this day and age, things are changing, technology. People like, oh, you're going to use your paper? I'm like, yep.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I still love pen and paper. I do.
No iPad, no iPod, just my journal.
Exactly. So how would you say, you answered that too. I'm not going to be redundant, because I was going to ask how has your faith played a role in your success, but I think you pretty much answered that. What do you wish you had known beforehand? Like something you've learned along the way that you wish you had just known beforehand?
Yeah, that's a good question. I always tell people I wish that I would have asked for help a little bit more. Because a lot of times I've been able to do everything, design, craft stories, can do my own hair, makeup, everything.
Oh, wow.
I do on my own, and a lot of times it's, if I see a good person that does good hair, or, for referral recommend, I'll try them out, but I'm very picky sometimes.
Right.
Because I want it done right, and I've dealt with bad situations. So I'm very picky. But I've been working on, asking for help more, and, understanding that help is not mean that you're weak in a certain area. It's just a need. Everybody needs help every now and then. And I think sometimes we just think that we're going to judge us for certain things. And I think that it's better to be judged. And, if they're going to judge you, at least you have that character to understand that you can't do it on your own.
Exactly. We need each other, right?
Right. And we're better together, working together. Together.
Yes.
So that would be one thing. I wish I would have asked for a little bit more help. And then another thing too is setting boundaries. I just really started to notice to set boundaries past 2-3 years.
Okay, yeah, because that's sometimes a hard one.
And then it's become very pervasive. This whole thing, set boundaries. So it's working. And I thank God.
That's good.
We can let people into our space and they drain us.
Yes.
Drain us, just not reciprocating what we need, or reciprocating what we're giving out. And,
Exactly.
it can be draining.
Exactly. Well said. So if I would love to just talk about this all day, but we are coming up on the end of our time here. So if you could, one thing, tell us where people who are listening can find you, find out more about you, connect with you, find out about your book, find out about your future projects, anything that you're involved in. How can they find you, Dana?
Sure. You guys the listeners can follow me on Instagram. It's Kingdom, KINGDOM, Steps, STEPS. If they want to go ahead and purchase the book, it's called The Day She Left Diary, Trauma to Triumph. And they can just type it in on Amazon. And it's the pink and white paper book. And that's about it.
Okay, awesome. Now, before I let you go, I've enjoyed this. We really do have a lot in common, Mike. Can you give us one piece of advice, somebody who's listening, there's somebody out there who's listening right now, maybe who's struggling with writing, maybe who's struggling with purpose, maybe they're struggling with their identity in God, with all of the above things, writing or acting, or maybe they want to pursue whatever it is. What advice would you give that person who's listening or aspiring to be successful in similar arenas? So
advice that I would give them is just stay focused. Understand that your situation is not your destination. I think a lot of times we just need to keep that hope and faith. Always be curious, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask a question. Have a mentor as well. With me, I'm pretty good at being an effective communicator. Everybody's not, that great of a communicator. Some people are. I would just recommend somebody to just find a mentor, somebody that can help assist them if they need help with the area. Keep God first. Stay at your home church. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, you've been there since you were little. Come over here. You don't have that. If you don't feel the Spirit of the Lord is at a certain place, don't go.
Don't go there. Yes.
Don't be church hopping, just because your friends go or you know somebody there. Just ask God where He wants to take you.
Right. Yes.
Set boundaries as well. And people that don't respect those boundaries, you need to figure out exactly where you want to place them. Those would be the main things. Just find a mentor, set boundaries, always be willing to ask for help, always be curious, keep the faith in God, and He'll direct your path.
All right. Words of wisdom. I love it, Dana. Dana, it's been so great listening to you.
Pleasure.
I've got to connect with you more because we really do have a lot of comments. Yeah, I really enjoyed this interview. I'm sure our listeners have as well. Thank you, Dana.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
And please keep in touch with us as your next project comes out, so we can talk about that one as well.
I will. Thank you so much for having me. Have a blessed day, okay?
Thank you. Same to you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening. Join your host, Asia Goldson, next time on the Covenant Tribe Media Podcast.